Hello and welcome to another Rin Reads. So with it being the month of June and June being Pride, I thought it would be fun to do some titles that had either LGBTQIA+, either characters or talked about topics or things like that. Not all of my books this month will do that, but I thought it would be fun to highlight kind of one a week. Just because it's Pride. So the first one that we're gonna do is Kiss and Tell. So when I first saw this book, I literally knew nothing about it. I saw that it was very pink and blue, which I love. And I also saw that it was about a boy band, which also love. So was definitely kind of just drawn to the cover itself. I'm not very discriminating, especially when looking at new books, as you can tell. So I went into this really blindly, and yeah, I was really excited when I first got into it to find out that it was a Canadian band. Sorry, Percy is here. Percy's here, and he's serving as a distraction. So I apologize that my brain is distracted. So the main group, the boy band, is Canadian, which of course I kind of was super excited about because you know me and my Canadian content. If you don't know me and my Canadian content, please go check out my reviews on Martin Godfrey's novels. So far I have 2 up. I love Canadian content. So it was really fun. The band is from Vancouver, and their first hit that went viral on the internet, which landed them the record deal, was called Poutine. So at this point, they are a very, I think, world famous band. I thought it was really interesting that they decided that the author, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Adib Khorram, they chose to base this book with a Canadian thing when they themselves are Iranian American. So that was kind of interesting, but it does say in the author blurb that he spent his summers with his extended family in Vancouver, British Columbia. So it makes sense that it's all Vancouver based. Some of the things that they talked about were things that I knew. The book starts out in Vancouver. And so it was just really exciting to be like, Vancouver. Also just some of the little Canadianisms. The main character is Hunter, and Hunter is a hockey boy, which of course he's a hockey boy. Yes, Percy. So basically he played hockey until he had an injury that he no longer could continue to play with. So he started a band with some of his friends. He also happened to be dating his best friend's and bandmate's twin brother. So you have this whole thing where he and his ex have gone through this really bad breakup. So it's kind of interesting because you have Hunter, who's stuck with Ashton, who's basically like a mirror image of Aiden. And so there's all of this like thing where, you know, it's his best friend, but he's also, you know, kind of conflicted with that. And then Aiden goes and posts a bunch of stuff online that are very personal chats between the two of them, which causes like this huge scandal. So it's kind of, you know, he has his privacy really just, violated. And it was really sad to see, but yeah, I feel like it's something that, of course, they dealt with it, but I don't think that they really dealt with the trauma of what Hunter was going through in the book. But at the same time, I mean, these are teenage boys. And like Hunter isn't even 18 yet. I'm going to try not to go into too much because it is a brand new book and I don't really want to give spoilers away. When I'm doing older stuff, I don't mind talking about it a lot more because it's like, this has been around from the 80s. If you haven't read it yet, sorry. But with this being so new, I don't want to give too much away. In the end, it really is about Hunter finding himself. And I really liked that. It wasn't a coming out story at all. He was already loud and proud. And it was more about him finding his place, him finding his voice, and him finding his people. And it was, I thought, a really powerful message. It was also a really cute book. I loved Hunter. I loved Ashton. I actually loved all of the band members. If for some reason Adib Khorram watches this, which he probably never would, but if he for some reason did, know that I would literally go out and buy 4 more books, 1 for each band member. I feel like Ashton really had a huge story. Like, oh, I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to give away things, but I would read a whole book just about Ashton. I would read about all of them, really. It's kind of fun because the whole band itself is very diverse. Yes, they're Canadian, but they all have different heritage. And then, of course, you have Hunter, who's gay. So there's a very diverse group in the band. And I would love, absolutely love to see the other 4 guys get their own stories told. At the end of the book, they start a world tour. And so it would be really fun to kind of go through kind of some of that tour and stuff, which means we would get like a little continuation of Hunter, but it would be through someone else's eyes, not Hunter's eyes. So with Kiss and Tell, I would recommend it. It's one that I really enjoyed and I just thought it was cute. Like I said, I loved the Canadian content. I loved that part of the book was based in Canada. There were a couple issues that I had with it. One, I don't know any Canadian band that would play a couple shows in Vancouver and then go straight to the US and no other like Canadian stops. Most likely, realistically, what I think would happen is they would start in Vancouver, make their way across Canada, doing all the major cities, get over to Toronto, Montreal, and then go down into the eastern seaboard and make their way back across the United States to end up back in home base of Vancouver. So I found the tour setup a little weird. I didn't think that that was totally realistic. I'm sorry, Percy. And then I also, and this was just a weird thing for me. I don't know if other people would think it was weird, but yes, Canadians say A. We do. I do. But I would never in writing, like if I was writing a message to someone, I would never write A unless I was like trying to be ridiculous and, you know, like make a joke of it. I would never write it just to write it. And I know that the author was definitely trying to express that they were Canadian. And there was one instance where used on stage, they said it, but it was just weird for me to see A written down because like I said, I would never actually write it. So yeah, it was just, that was a weird thing for me. Also, I mean, I know there's like licensing and stuff like that, but I just thought it really weird that there was no mention of Tim Hortons. But like I said, they probably just didn't have the rights or licensing to put that in the book, or they didn't think it was important because, yeah, I don't know. So, but yeah, they have this whole like thing where he's traveling around Gastown in Vancouver, and I was like, oh, I've been there. So I had some of those like exciting like, ah, moments. So yeah, this is a recommend from me. And yeah, I'm excited to explore a few more books throughout the month. Stay tuned.